Hello, everybody, and welcome to the It's So Easy podcast.
It's so easy, baby.
It's so easy. We have Zach with us finally.
Finally, Zach.
Finally, Zach. That's the name of our next album.
Yep.
Finally, Zach.
Yep. It's got one really long-ass song on it.
I love the title track. Or the first track is almost exactly there.
Second track.
Or pretty much almost.
Zach been all my life?
Where has Zach been all my life? Where has Zach been all my life? He's on his way.
It's funny because like 80% of the audience watching this is agreeable to that. Like, they all know. They're like, dude, he's right.
Dude, all three people that are watching this podcast are like, yeah.
It was funny to me, and I mentioned this to Zach too, but when I filled in with you guys in the Bengebreakers, I was a Bengebreakers fan before because of what I'd seen here at Rainwater Studios.
It was a cool show.
But when I dug into some of your music, I ran across that song On Time.
Yeah.
Very first fucking line in the song, I promise I will be on time.
Yep. Hey, my.
Wonder why you wrote that.
Yeah. It's why you think.
Don't make promises you can't keep, Zach.
Exactly. You know?
I do it all the time.
I'm a slave in my own mind, you know?
I would say you're pretty sharp-y.
I'd rather be weird.
I think you do good.
Right on.
You got it.
Cool. You should meet my parents.
You got that down. Yeah, you're fucking weird.
My mom's a Pisces and my dad's a Sagittarius, homies.
Does that mean she doesn't eat meat?
Yeah, probably. Okay. Yeah.
I'm full of shit.
Yeah. Hey, we're both similar birthdays. When's your birthday? August what?
19th. I'm a Leo.
Me too. Yeah, I'm the 12th.
Leo as fuck.
I think Nick's is the 18th. My drummers.
Is it? Wow.
Yeah.
You know, I never paid any kind of credence to that kind of shit until somebody came along and was like, dude, you're totally a Scorpio. And I'm like, okay, but how do you know that?
Right. Yeah. There's something to it for sure, but I mean, it's not the whole.
Because you just are, man.
Not the whole deal, you know.
Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, it's a cold ass day here in Indiana. Apparently, it's 78 degrees out right now. That's pretty cool.
No, it's 78 degrees in here.
It's 78 here. No, yeah, it's like what, -14? No, I'm just kidding. It's like 6 outside.
Yeah, it was cool.
It's disgusting.
The weather sucks. But the roads were not actually bad at all. I was really surprised. I was expecting to have to, like, pull an Arthur Morgan. We have to seek shelter somewhere. It's, real bad out there. But no, we made it here and we made it happen. Like we always do. We are survivors.
Bing! I just popped in on your screen right on the black of that tablecloth. It was like magic.
What
Hello.
did?
Hello, gentlemen. My face.
Oh, wow.
Oh, your
Face.
face.
It's all out there
Whoa.
with you now.
Oh, wow.
Wow,
Yeah.
he's like right down there.
Oh, yeah. You're covering
then,
your own merchandise.
Boom. And then nothing.
Wow.
Whoa, that's
It's like
cool.
that black table is my screen for my face.
Dude, you're like that guy from the Power Rangers. Hello,
yeah.
Power Rangers. You must go kill that one dude.
Oh my God, dude, you just unlocked so many childhood memories.
Yeah. What is this? What, Zordon or whatever his name was?
Yeah, dude. I remember that really well.
Comment below what his name was.
Yeah. They had that gooey, slimy egg shit, that purple egg, the Power Rangers.
Yeah, and that one chick, that one chick looked like my barber at the time. But she sounded just like my barber too, because my barber was like this old biker chick. And
Was she a
like,
Power Ranger?
No, she was that one, the evil chick that came out of the
yeah.
record.
Totally.
Now I must release my evil. Yeah, she had like she sounded like she'd been smoking like 12 packs of Marlboros
they
before
all
she got
did.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They all did, yeah.
God, what was her name too? I can't remember. That's a lot of memories.
Yeah.
I remember they came out with the Green Ranger, and he was like for one episode. I don't know.
Maybe it's like, is it a 90s kid thing where, like, we all had a babysitter or 15 babysitters where we were, like, exposed and subjected to, like, weird experiences growing up, like, through those years? Does that happen to 90s kids onlys, or, like, does it get worse the further back you go? Like,
I think that depends. My babysitters, and I got lucky. Her name's Amanda Wampler now, Brian Wampler's
write
wife.
that down. No, I'm just kidding.
But I would just get in trouble, me and Brett, because she would turn something like that on, and then she'd walk back into the living room. We'd have Jackass on TV.
Right. Oh, yeah, that's just the beginning.
My babysitter was the wife of a petrol company. My parents were retired by the time I was a kid, so like there was always somebody watching me.
I mean, if you think about it, it's like, I don't know how we're getting on this, but I'm gonna roll with it. But so many other people are in charge of your kids when you're going through those years where they're going through school and shit, and it's like those people are who shape and carve who we are.
Yeah. I did have a babysitter because her name
Come on
was
over here, Zach. Or let's move this over there.
Sure.
Her name was Sue Landon or
Landon.
what? Yeah. She was my babysitter. Man, she was a hell of a woman. Great. She was a really God-fearing person. I don't think she ever cussed a day in her life.
That's good.
But she was mean with a fly swatter. Oh man, she would, bah,
Yeah.
But no, she introduced me to the first ever song. God, I can't remember. It was a Pearl Jam song, I think. And she used to play like Pearl Jam when we were sleeping, but like the really mellow Pearl Jam stuff.
Totally, yeah.
And Coldplay and the Eagles and stuff like
Tracy
that.
Chapman.
Yeah. So yeah, but I did have a babysitter, but.
I had several, man. It was weird.
Yeah, we had instead of having 15 babysitters, I had one babysitter that had like 15 kids.
There you go.
So,
Well,
yeah, I got in a lot of fights back then.
yeah.
I think my main babysitter would have been my grandma.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, the other kids that she babysat with us, just like random people's kids, some of them are still friends to this day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of them I've called my sister for
That's what I
don't
mean.
even know how long.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't know if I'm still friends with some of the people I don't know. God, I couldn't even tell you.
I had a weird go around in those years.
Do you want to show us on the doll?
Sure, yeah. Where's it at?
When you first started talking about it, I was like, everybody.
No, I mean, it's just something that,
I know I got the suit on, but it's like,
yeah. Let's get weird in here, dude.
I feel like I'm
Steve Harvey.
Why don't you take a seat right there, Mr. Benge?
No, it's a thing, man.
I have the chat logs.
It's a thing.
I don't know. Despite all the babysitter tomfoolery that we may have been up to in our earlier days,
Sorry.
sorry. Me and Zach were talking about an interesting conversation before the cameras started. That's the reason why we had to start the cameras. We were talking about a one-man band stuff. So I do a one-man band show whenever I'm not playing with a band because I like money, and you make a little bit more money doing that because people are like, wow, you're like a traveling circus show because you can do all these things at once. And we were talking about how so my one-man band is acoustic, me singing, and then bass drum on my right foot and then hi-hat on my left. And we were talking about how we build up the things like that, and it's just about anything you do in life. You start out doing simple, and actually you just kind of throw yourselves into the wolves, and you get up on stage and you do it for 3 or 4 hours, and at some point in those 3 and 4 hours,
On stage?
you learn,
Totally.
yeah, you learn to do it,
Yeah.
and
Take your lumps.
yeah, and you just do that for 8 years.
Yeah.
You get the hang of it after a while.
Yep.
You start simple too. You start like with the basic beats like boop, ch, boop, and then like once you start getting good at it, you can start throwing your little fills in there and build ups and whatever.
Taylor was a drummer first and foremost also, if you guys didn't know that. So
Drummer.
You guys know that focus backwards is suck off?
Chris, everybody. Give it up for Chris.
Thank you, guys. I'm Toby Keith from Lincoln Park.
Is that the first thing you've said? Suck off.
I'm Toby Keith from Lincoln Park.
Oh God.
Well, I love it.
So
I
I think
love you too.
Dude, stop. Conor McGregor me, dude.
Conor McGregor.
Fuck, man.
We'll do fucking nothing.
Okay, Chris.
So I think today I wanted to, well, not just me, I think we wanted to talk about some of our worst tour experiences, and if we haven't toured, worst show experiences, and then kind of talk about what it's like being a musician from Indiana, because we're not really part of like a scene per se. There's there's red dirt scenes and there's Appalachian scenes, and Indiana has its own scene, but it's not like part of a big scene per se.
Totes.
But yeah, we can start with worst tour experiences. Zach, what's the worst thing that you've ever experienced on the road or at a show? Or
Honestly, man, I have done some of that touring and whatnot, and
Right on.
I've played several different places, but not ever so much as I have with you guys. I mean, one of the worst times, not worst, but one of the most adventurous times was with you guys, in that we got our hotel room.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we all got a hotel room. It was cool too because it was like one of the few times in my life where somebody was like, grab your guitar and come with me to another state, and you don't have to pay for it. You know, you're going to play your music and you're going to come back home and you're going to get paid for it. I was like, hell yeah. And so I didn't care if we stayed in the we could have rode a Vespa and shared a Vespa out that way. I didn't care. I think I said that. But
I felt so bad because that was the first time Kris went on the road with us.
Yeah.
Dude.
And Kris was so tired by the time we got to this hotel.
Yeah.
And I was ready to go to bed myself, but I went to go lay down in the bed and the bed felt wet.
Yeah.
And then Brandon's like,
It was
I think there's
damp. It wasn't like soaked. It was just like the sheets were kind of damp.
something out of Ed, Ed, and Eddie or
Yeah. And then Brandon was like saying, I think there's bed bugs. And I'm like, son of a bitch, I'm ready to go to bed. I don't care. And then it was like, I looked down and I'm like, oh my gosh, there's bed bugs.
Yeah.
So we had to go, we packed up our shit. We found another hotel. We had to go in the room. Kris had just fallen asleep. Poor guy, he was like, his eyelids were heavy when he was about to go.
yeah.
Like he was tired.
I'd been to the gym and everything that day. Like,
Yeah.
been on
Well,
the road.
and you were like dead asleep
Yeah.
when we came to wake you up.
First one out.
Yeah, you were like, I can't even remember. We woke you up and we're like, we got to leave. It was like, are you serious?
Well, dude, we went down to the parking lot to smoke a cigarette or something, and these people walked by and they're like, good night, guys. Sleep tight. Don't let the bed bugs bite.
Yeah.
And then they're like, seriously?
Yeah, they were like, no, really.
No, really, there's bed bugs. I'm like, ah, shit.
But what I'm getting at is Brandon, being the dude that he is, like, there's a cool little ragtag group of guys in this band that, like, we all kind of serve our own purpose and role. And Brandon's is sort of like the guy that isn't afraid to be like, hey, this place sucks. Like, you're going to take accountability for that. So he did that. He went to the front desk, and, like, this dude was, like, so submissive and, like, he just...
Well, I was pissed off about it,
Yeah.
right? I was like, we're here at a hotel. We're all tired of shit.
Yeah.
We just been on the road for hours. I'd like to go to bed. I can't go to bed because, for one, it's fucking wet. And two, there's those fucking... I mean, you look behind the bed, and you can see where the bed bugs are. That was the first thing I checked when we
Yeah.
went back inside.
All they had on TV was the Conan with Arnold Schwarzenegger, too. So
Yeah.
TV was sucked, too.
Oh, yeah, that was... Yeah.
You remember that, Keenan? Anyway,
Dude,
fourth wall. Sorry.
I wasn't there, dude.
Well, he's asking if you remember the movie Conan with Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
Oh, I was sort of named after Conan.
Conan.
Oh, yeah, dude.
It's Conan, not Conan. Conan was Conan O'Brien. Conan is the muscular dude that slayed back in the 80s.
Well, show us your pecs, dude.
Keenan.
I would, but I don't want to break anything.
You're right.
I got a picture of his pics with Travis Tritt in it.
Yeah, we don't bring guns out in here, dude.
No
I
guns
see.
allowed in this studio.
Shots fired.
But yeah, I went down there and I was ready to lay into this dude because I was tired, I was angry. And I walked down and I'm like, hey, listen, so you got bed bugs. You've got some weird shit going on in your hotel. I don't know why the sheets are wet. But you
Did just
need,
like that.
somebody had paid for us to stay there. Like that wasn't on our budget. That was the event coordinator that paid for it.
Yep.
And I was like, you need to refund to the original payment method and give me the receipt so we can show him that we went somewhere else and got a different hotel so he can comp that instead.
Very
and this
agreeable.
dude, instead of fighting with me like I was kind of hoping for, he's just like, oh yeah, man, totally get it. And I'm like,
I thought he was going to leave with us.
well, it's fucking bullshit, man. Like, how? And he goes, yeah, man, I agree with you. And I'm like, fine.
Fight me, motherfucker. What are you doing?
He's just like an emotional punching bag for people.
I see why you work night shift.
If anyone would needed to be like a bot or like an AI, it would be that guy.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, dude. That's like when I traveled up to South Dakota back in August last year, and I drove for 16 hours straight, and then I finally got to the motel, and I was going to sleep, and the chick at the counter was like, I can't get your security deposit off your card. The machine isn't working. We'll deal with it in the morning. And I was like, okay. It was like $100 security deposit. And I'll be damned if I didn't wake up in the morning and I'm packing up my things and I'm leaving, and the owner of the hotel walks up to me and's like, are you Taylor? And I was like, yeah. He's like, you came in last night, right? I was like, yeah. And he's like, okay. And he walks away, and I'm like, okay, that must have been the guy. So I grabbed my shit and ran to my van and just took the fuck off so I didn't have to pay the security deposit. I mean, it's dumb. I know why they want it. Those cheap motels, man, they'll keep that security
Yeah,
deposit.
Will every
yeah.
time.
yeah.
So
I've had some nightmares.
So but that was like the worst experience you had out. Was that?
No,
night?
it was just it was in the top handful because I haven't been really in any sort of touring scenarios other than
I'm honored it was me.
Indiana. Yeah, I mean, no, yeah, totally.
I mean, I guess I would rank it up there. I mean, it was
an adventure.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of just like a. So when me and you went on the road with somebody, Taylor, as a rhythm section, back in those days, somebody had never told me to take off the fucking fedora I was wearing.
Oh,
I too had a hat.
And
the wardrobe malfunction.
we were.
I'm a nice guy.
Well, this just had so many problems
His tip
in
fell
general.
out.
Like so like instead of like having a set list or anything, the guy goes, "Do you know how to play old country?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I've been playing a lot of old country." I'm thinking like Waylon Willie, you know. And he's like, "All right." And we go to kick into the show, no set list or anything. And he's like, "Yeah, this one's by Ernest Tubbs. This next one's by Ray Price." And I'm like, "Who the fuck?"
He's talking black and white country. Like, yeah.
Oh, you talking old country?
Yeah, like what's that dude's name? Bob White?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Old country. Even Waylon's like, damn, that's old, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, straight up.
And it was like, I guess I probably should have asked him to clarify before I answered yes. But that style was just so different. Like, in order for those songs to sound not the same, what they would do was they would put the turnaround in some random ass spot in the song.
Yep.
A lot of them had more like walkie bass lines as opposed to that boom, boom that you're used to in other styles of country.
Oh, yeah.
And it was just like, yeah, I totally screwed myself for this whole run. We went to several states in that run, played several shows, and then came back. The hotel wasn't that bad.
You know what always my favorite thing about going on the road with somebody, when you ask for a set list and they say anything country from 1930s to 1980s.
Dang.
Those are my favorite. Those are my favorite gigs.
So, like,
when you
Garth
have
Brooks
no
then, or-
freaking clue what's going on at all. Yeah, it's always fun.
But that same trip, I had not become self-aware about my fedora yet. And it was another one of the
conscious.
band members that was in the vehicle with us for that tour. He goes, "Listen, you got to take that thing off. You're freaking me out back there."
Sometimes it needs to be said. Man.
And he kept dogging on me about that fedora the entire time we were on the road. And I went home and I went, took it off, and I have not put it back on.
Seems to be a theme in your life, getting dogged for your wardrobe. That's pretty exciting.
Good Lord.
Well, you know, sometimes it's more fair than others. So, like,
Even nowadays, he decided to join a band with two hippies.
Yeah.
I gotta wear what?
I joined a band. So we got Slow Gen going now with me, Taylor, and Ty. And they're like 60s psychedelic style looking. Taylor looks a little bit like some member of Skinnerd. And I had put together an outfit for the Taylor Hernly band that doesn't match at all what we're doing. But it's like the leather pants. I've got a studded like black denim vest. I've got a shirt with all the chest hairs showing. Like it's kind of a get up now.
Yes,
As long as you look like a rock star, that's all that matters.
this is how I look usually. I've worn this for the last 6 days. No, I'm just kidding.
Lemmy always said it best. Nobody wants to go to a show and see their next door neighbor on stage playing
Exactly.
music. They want to see a freaking alien,
freak,
somebody
yeah.
that's out of this world. You know.
That's why
Totally.
we started playing for Electricon.
That's why I
Yeah.
dress. That's why I go naked now when I play drums. Just
Me and Taylor have been working on some shit where he gets up on my shoulders and like there's this big thing and it's cool. Yeah.
yeah, you
It's
should,
not that big.
Not yet, but he's got a thing for that now. Now I've really confused the people now.
come to a show and see Zach's Magic Wiener.
Yeah, dude. God.
Wait a second. I thought he had a big muff.
Zach's Big Muff.
He's got both.
Hang in there, baby.
He got the pussy.
Okay.
Moss-covered three-handled family credenza.
Oh Lord.
You guys
So-
suck, man. Quit talking about my magic wiener. It's sacred, man.
Zach's Magic Wiener
It's a
lives
sacred.
in
It's a sacred magic wiener.
You know, I was kind of
Lives in his
surprised you
pants.
didn't bring up getting called out in a town full of hot women.
Yeah.
I
Cursed forever.
I didn't realize that calling somebody a womanizer in front of 2,000 people would not be a good benefit to him.
Well, I
Not
think
exactly what you meant to say, was it?
Taylor
No,
was
I
aiming
was-
for ladies, man.
I was
all right.
trying to hook him up, and
Ladies' man and a womanizer, I think, are two different things.
They
after,
are.
after we got done playing the gig, nobody would come over and talk to us.
Yeah.
Taylor's on stage.
They were like,
and
hey,
he's like,
take your sister home, please.
He's like, and Zach, he's our womanizer. And I'm like, fuck.
It was just in the moment. There was a lot of people there, man. He just said what he felt, and it was the wrong.
It was a great
iteration.
show.
Yeah, it was.
You've
It
been
was
there,
a
haven't
good
you,
show.
Zach?
Huh?
You've been there, haven't you? You
I mean,
said the wrong thing on stage?
Oh yeah, for sure, dude. For sure.
You want to talk about wardrobe malfunction? It was really hot that day, so I decided not to wear my patch pants that actually look good. I wore my pajama pants and I pulled them up. So if you find that video, I'm like running around on stage with like these weird blue pants. I look like I just got out of bed to go play a show.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous.
Yes, I do want to talk about wardrobe malfunctions, but even more than that, I want to talk about the silliest thing you've each said on stage into a microphone.
Oh my God.
What was the thing that you regretted the most, made you most ashamed?
I've got a good one.
Oh man, I'm cringing already, dude.
I don't think I've said anything into a microphone.
They never
I've
give you a
regretted yet.
microphone, do they?
Well, me and Taylor do a little bit of banter nowadays.
I don't say anything during those shows, believe it or not.
Most of the time when I step up into the microphone, it's to like introduce Taylor or talk back and forth about songs and whatnot. But 90% of it is just me making short jokes.
Pretty
Yeah,
much.
I was about to say most of them are just short jokes, but
Pretty much, yeah.
no, I think the stupidest, not the stupidest. I wasn't even supposed to be stupid. There was a bunch of like older women that were at this bar called Putters. And if you ever played at Putters or ever seen the room is no bigger than this studio. Like, it's not a big room that you play in. And you're just kind of stuck up on the corner and you're playing acoustic guitar. And they had a drink called it was like the Cougar or something like that.
Oh God.
And I looked up at the bar, and I looked up and I was like, oh, the Cougar. And these women look at me, and they were just like, really? And they were really pissed off that I said that. I was like, no, it's a drink. And then I'll be damned if they didn't look up at the screen and the screen changed.
Oh, man.
So the drink wasn't even up there anymore. So I had to wait for it to come back around. I'm like, see, it's the drink. And they didn't. They were just like, no. They paid their check and they fucking left.
It'd be funny if you were like, I'll have 4 Cougars.
I'll have 4 Cougars, please.
No, this dude has been dodging cougars for years at this point.
Cougar dodging shoes.
All you dudes or a particular dude?
Well, kind of all of us, but so there was this show we did in Ohio.
He's right.
And Taylor's brother was actually at that show with us.
Oh, God.
And she follows Taylor out, and she is trying to. I mean, this is years ago at this point. And I said that for the girlfriend, by the way. Yeah. So this chick follows us out, and she's just like you can tell she doesn't have great hygiene going on or anything.
It was at Froggy's.
Okay, well, I was trying to.
Smells
not
like
say.
onions.
We're not
made
trash
that
talking
up.
the venue. Yeah, Froggy's is a great place.
But this chick follows us out, and she's trying to like hit on Taylor. She realizes Taylor has no interest, so she starts going after his damn brother. And Taylor was driving a big black Dodge Ram at the time.
Yeah.
And she crawls up on top of the hood. Tyler's hiding in the car from this chick in the driver's seat. She climbs on top of the hood, pulls her titties out, and presses them up against the windshield. Taylor's brother's first reaction is to turn on the fucking windshield wiper.
He turns on the windshield wipers.
Oh man. Shredded her lips, man.
My brother's quite the character.
That's awesome though. That's rock and roll as hell.
He smells like a Harley, bub. Yeah.
See, I don't know what they're talking about, but it's still funny.
No, I'm getting the feeling there was something stupid you said on stage at one point.
For
I wanna hear
sure,
about
dude.
this.
For sure. Yeah, just like 5 minutes ago, I think I said it on this stage.
I'm doing it right now.
I'm doing
Yeah.
it right now, guys. Look at this. No, there's a couple different instances, but one of them is a lot of them are here because I'm comfortable here. So like I come on here and it's not like being in front of like a physical audience. It's a little different than that. Still as epic, I think. It's exhilarating to do it, but I've definitely made some blunders here. I think one of them is I just use like words that I get the meanings of certain words flip-flopped, like opposite meanings.
I do the same thing.
Yeah, like instead of saying like in unison or in congruence with, I'll say like in opposition to, and it just totally changes the meaning of everything I do. And it's stupid, but when I was younger, I was recording an album actually in a studio in the country towards where I lived, and I got 3 sheets to the wind. We were drinking whiskey, and I thought that I had made it. Just the fact that I was in a studio and I was still had the ego that I was dealing with, and just thought that I was somebody that I wasn't. But I got a little too inebriated, and I started talking about Courtney Love Hewitt, which isn't a person. It's not a person.
You're mixing Courtney Love and Jennifer Love Hewitt.
Yeah, but I was being real serious about it and acting like I knew some shit or something, and it was just the most cringeworthy shit I've ever done. And just the other day, man, the guy that was there, he ended up being one of my best friends. I haven't seen him in years and years, but a guy that was just happened to be there that day messaged me out of nowhere and said, Courtney Love Hewitt. I was like, you bastard.
Billy Joel is a great piano player. I love Billy Joel as a great,
You're talking about the girl that was on Ghost Whisperer and killed Kurt Cobain.
Exactly that one at the same time. Yeah, the tallest, shortish one.
Good old John McCartney. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
The blonde brunette.
Yeah, no, the one of them is nicer than the other.
Courtney Love Hewitt. We'll put that on our t-shirts.
Has anybody allowed you to have a microphone before, Chris?
We should.
You got any bad stories?
Not on tour necessarily. I don't want shit to go wrong on tour though, for sure. Like I don't want to like have my gear break down on me or some shit. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's the best part of tours when shit goes wrong.
You got the most expensive gear.
That's why you buy good gear.
You don't remember the tours. You remember the bad parts of the tour.
Right.
For sure.
Dude, I remember on that show that you guys were talking about where we had the rooms with the bed bugs. I brought my snare drum with me and it was it broke down in the middle of the show. Like one of the lugs broke off because it's like this vintage snare drum. So that was like one of the nightmares. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
That's always lame.
That's terrifying.
Yeah,
I hope that never happens to me.
I can't think of anything else except for the Cougar one. I play so much, and when you play a lot, usually like if something bad happens, you're just kind of like, meh. I mean, I had one recently where like this guy we talked about it last episode, the heckler, he said I had no rhythm, which was hilarious. I've never really gotten that one before.
I haven't even talked to you about that guy yet. Like, what the heck's up with that guy?
I don't know. He's some drunk asshole.
What a butthole, dude.
Yeah, butthole. You stupid doo-doo head. That's
Have you ever had something like that, like a heckler, and just it almost turned into a physical altercation on or near the stage? Because that's happened to me. That's another couple.
I don't know if you've seen me, but I'm not the one to start fights.
Well, people get drunk.
That's what I'm on stage for.
Right.
Yeah.
I recall a show I
with
was
Taylor.
running sound for in a little place called Petersburg, where Zach might have gone off
That's
on a
the
dude
one, man.
about he was telling us to add more bass, and the whole sound needs more bass.
Yeah. Were you
Zach
on the
was
stage?
getting a little bit. The reaction was a little disproportionate.
Well, he was a big dude, but he wouldn't leave, and I said, dude, you need to get off the stage right now. Like, you're about to cross a line, man. And he did, but...
Zach Band's coming up with the RKO!
Yeah. We got a 10-10. And
Can't believe what I'm seeing here, JR!
Celebrity death match.
Yeah, dude.
It's been a long time since Zach has stepped into the ring, but we're excited to see it here tonight.
That was an 8-hour show, dude.
An 8-hour show?
Yeah.
Just for you or everybody?
Yeah, I mean, it was our day, and we had to fill it up with 8 hours of music, and that was back when Stonebreaker was in the band.
Good
and
Lord.
Keenan came out and helped us out. We paid him well, and
I've played it 5 hours before, but 8?
yeah, it was the first time I've ever done it. Only time I've ever
When
done
we
it.
thought the show was over, I jumped up there and played some songs,
Yeah.
and then the show went on for a while when Zach jumped up there and played some more songs.
Yeah, we went for the whole 8, I think.
If I could repeat songs, I could do 8, but
I don't think
We could play
did,
our
really.
set list twice, and we'd get there.
My shit's too long anyway. I write 10-minute songs.
Yeah, it's dangerous telling Zach one more song. It could be
3 and
the
1.
10-minute.
Yeah, the medley.
oh Lord, yeah.
Okay, guys.
I don't know,
You know,
man.
and all of that stuff too, with tour experiences and whatnot. I think a lot of it just has to do with where we're from, to an extent. I mean, because we're not in a state that's like super conducive
For
to,
music
to
and
being a musician. You know what I mean? And I like that that's been changing. We've been seeing that steadily change.
It has
It's coming
changed.
around.
Yeah.
But when we started this, and I
It's not good for the band yet. It's good for the songwriter.
Yeah.
well, see, that's the direction I've seen it change a little bit. It used to be all about the dude with an acoustic,
Right.
and now they're starting to get more into original band music.
Because of guys like Keenan and Russ and all that.
Exactly.
Well, the reason why I love the Appalachian scene is because they breed, they cultivate, and they nurture original music down there.
Because I heard they breed a lot.
Yeah. Up here.
So do rabbits.
And I could be speaking out of ignorance, and I could be wrong. I don't know, but like, it seems like a lot of the bands around here, the ones that are really that have the solid management behind them and they have the solid push by all these promoters are the ones that are cover bands.
Yeah.
And the thing, I don't mind cover bands, but after a while, it's like they don't have a personality to me. I don't care how good of a musician you are. You're still playing the same version of Tennessee Whiskey that everybody else plays.
There's a general nearsightedness to things. Like the cover music that you are going to learn as a band wasn't cover music to the people who wrote that music. And that's just a very nearsighted way of going about making money playing music. If that's what you want to do, do it.
I mean, there's a need for it. Like I totally
for sure.
understand, and I understand how fun it is.
Yeah,
like,
it is.
Yeah.
The songs we grew up playing. Imagine if that was just your job. Go do it on stage. But at the same time, it is like it makes it really hard when all of these bars they want you to come in and play all the covers, and it's like, well, we don't do that. You have to push really hard, and that's kind of a thing. Cover bands, you see them. They blow up a little quicker, but they plateau.
That's where they stay.
They don't get bigger. Original music, you got to work like hell to get up to that point.
But you got control.
But
And the
you
bars
can
want
keep
you to
going.
play what people know, and you have to do some of that at the bars. But at a real venue, when you got your 90 minutes of power, your 75 minutes of power, do you guys find yourself covering your hero songwriters from the region? I think that's the best way to promote local music is to you guys take a song from one of your buddies and make it your own.
There's there's also that weird wall that you run into as an original band because the Taylor Hernly band, we have our own set price, and like I don't like to go below that because we can't afford to go below that.
Yep.
And as an original band, you can't just. I understand where bars are coming from. I can't go to a venue and be like, hey, we want this amount of money. Well, how many people can you bring in? Well, I don't know. Well, then why would I book you for that much? We can book you for this much because that's a good way for us to have you in here and not lose our asses at it.
Yes,
First
the
or second
question
time,
is,
yeah.
whose audience are you playing for? Are you playing for an audience you're bringing, or are you playing for the built-in audience of the bar? And the audience kind of dictates what you play to a large extent. Even though you're artists, you want to play what you want to play. So at the bars and the places where they provide the audience, you end up playing a mixture of your originals, but heavy on the covers, right?
Yeah, exactly. And if you're going to because
Not me.
I remember you telling me that Reverend
Zach
Payton
Benge.
saying this, and this is a logic I've always taken whenever you go other places, unless you're playing a festival that really calls for original music. Those people really don't give a shit about you. It is, as long as you're good, it's easy to build up a hometown crowd because, those are your friends, that's your family. I mean, Lord willing, and they want to come see you play.
If
but
the
when
creek don't rise.
if you go to a bar even 100 miles away from you and those people don't know who you are, like they don't give a damn about your original music.
No.
You have to make them give a damn about you, and that's where I understand where these cover bands are, and I understand why people like doing that because I could start like a Led Zeppelin cover band and I could book that all over the nation and we could probably get decent money for it.
Oh, yeah, since I was
Because you're
15.
talking about name recognition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't have
There's
it. You scavenge it elsewhere.
Yeah. What's up, Chris?
There's a really good video by Rick Beato on YouTube talking about kind of like the death of rock and roll and what killed that with the market, you know what I mean? And a lot of it's got to do with the Telecommunications Act, and bars really don't realize that a lot of the reason that the music scene, is the way that it is because, like for example, back in the day, like radio DJs, in your hometown would, they'd find local musicians, they'd put them on, if they liked your music, they'd repeat your song over and over on the radio.
Yeah.
And really every station now, you'll
regulated.
have one dude, in some, rich, nice office in New York picking out what millions of people are going to listen to. And that's kind of what's killed originality and creativity and forced us all to be playing the same shit. And it kind of is responsible for writer's block because it's like it shouldn't be as hard as it is. And it's because we're all kind of forced to listen to the same shit because there's one dude, who's a millionaire in some office who picks out what we all kind of hear. And everybody's like, you need to play that. It's like,
There's a great a way somebody put it to me. God, this is probably 7-8 years ago that I heard this. But the reason why things went so differently back in the 60s and 70s is because it was a bunch of old guys that didn't know what the kids wanted. So they're like, obviously this shit works, so let's just try this.
Yeah.
Nowadays, it's a bunch of young kids that think they know what kids want, so they just get what they think kids want. And they're not willing to try new stuff. And
it's not about music anymore. It's about like this image. It's about a brand.
Yeah, you got to build a brand with social media and all that, and nobody pushes music like it used to. And
I'm 31 and I'm a dinosaur in that shit.
yeah.
We cycle back to Reverend Peyton here in some quotes, but one time he threw at me what Flogging Molly had told him. If you don't let the kids tell you what's cool, you tell the kids what's cool.
Yeah.
You give them the merch that they're going to want, not what they think they want.
Yeah, dude.
Right? Don't give them an imitation. Give them the real thing.
Yeah, it's the predisposition in the first place. It's like the whole mindset.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, what I was getting at was just, I'm perfectly, I love the cover bands and all that stuff. It's just the reason why I love the Appalachian scene is because they cultivate that. There are so many festivals in Appalachia that revolve around original music. There's venues, and obviously the money in original music isn't there unless you make it there.
Yeah.
Like if you bring in 100 people, you'll make a lot of money. If you don't bring in any people, you're not making any money. That's just the problem of it. But the reason why so many great musicians are coming out of it is because they're cultivating it. They're not just giving them a platform. They're getting together. They're meeting together. They're writing songs together. They're strategizing together. They put together these little cliques that build up each other.
Yeah.
And sometimes cliques can be a good and bad thing, but that's what I wish would happen a little. It's happening a lot in Indiana, and I'll give it that. And like I said, I could be speaking out of ignorance.
We're
or
doing the
whatever.
damn thing.
Well,
Yeah.
and it's coming a long way. And like what Kris is talking about with radio stations, if you want to seek out good local music, it's easier than ever.
It's right in your face.
Exactly because of people like Keenan
Yeah,
and
for
Rainwater
sure.
Studios.
Well, we had that experience at a couple weeks ago. We won't talk about whatever just for anonymity, but we played an event where they were really wanting us to play mostly cover songs, and I was like, "No, this is what
That was like a couple months ago.
Yeah. Well, this is what we do. Just, I understand, whatever. I know the situation, but just let us do what we do and see if you like it. If you don't like it, then we just won't come back.
Totally.
And then we went up there and the people loved it.
Yep.
Well, a part of that too, and it goes back into what you were saying about things being more geared towards full bands now than the man with the acoustic. Is I've noticed with original music, as long as you can get people to shake their ass,
At least one of them. Yeah.
they don't really care what the song is,
Right.
and they're gonna be your fan because of how they felt.
It's all in the rhythm section.
Right. So if you've got that man in the acoustic up there, you can do it. Right. You can get people dancing a bit. When you get a band up there that's really doing some funky shit, they can't hardly help it.
Yeah.
Did you guys just hear an elephant?
I mean, you're talking about
Nessa blowing her
networking.
nose.
You're talking about networking, and you've seen networking outside of the state lines. In Kentucky and a lot of Appalachia, and like you're saying, Jeremy Short. We opened for Jeremy Short.
Yeah.
That dude has a cool Appalachian thing going on.
Yeah.
A soulful sound. They got a mixed bag of sounds over there, but I think that it's cool that we are kind of being the change that we want to see here already. Like Taylor Hernly Band is like 3 or 4 different entities in one, and collaboratively we have like 20,000 people that know some facet of what we do.
Yeah.
So that's a good start. That's called networking. I mean,
Yeah.
we can be many things.
Yeah.
It takes a long time to network when you don't have money.
I think we should collaborate more
That's no
shows
shit.
together.
Yeah.
You know what
I
I
would
mean?
throw out
Yeah.
one more opportunity, you fellas. There's a local venue, and since it's not set in stone, I won't name the name, but I may be doing some booking for this place. And on Saturdays, we want it to be a special show. We want to present the bands well, a nice speech beforehand, and then you walk out, take your places while the speech is still happening, and you start playing music as soon as your name is said. But I don't really like 3 hours from the same band. It's hard to run a marathon in front of people and make
I've
that
always
look
been
exciting.
like that. Yeah.
Right? But if you guys, what are there, 3 different people in your band that could go out there and be the opener that plays for an hour before the full band?
We literally have a
You're your own
3-band
clique.
show in
Yeah.
our own
Right.
group.
Yeah,
For sure.
totally.
And you could have each of the 3 you play 30 minutes
Yeah.
as openers, and then play the hour and 15 minutes of power from the band.
Well, it's interesting because Bengebreakers are like more of a jammy, like mostly original set list, and then Slow Gin. If you come check them out, they've got a mixture of both, and they do their covers really freaking well. By the way, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, dude.
But yeah,
And Brandon's going to be starting a band here soon with his wife, and I've
That's
got
not going public yet. You can cut that.
Me and Kris are going to come after all you guys.
I've got something with a buddy, Donovan Hurley, that everybody could
God dang.
go check out. It's like a Cage the Elephant type thing. We're all constantly experimenting and changing our styles and sounds and reporting back on what it's doing with everybody. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, and it's the influences. And by the way, Cannon, very much interested in that.
Right on. Very
For
good.
sure.
The influences that go into that kind of thing, though, like if you listen to all 5 of us, and Ty's not here today, but if you listen to all 5 of us in the Taylor Hernly band, it's almost like you don't know what the hell's coming at you. You just know it's gonna feel good.
It's cool. That's true.
It's
Yeah, dude.
like being in a blindfolded orgy.
Being a musician from Indiana, places like this where there's dead zones and nothing but cornfields and, a lot of addiction around us in either big cities or super small cities, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's hard to network, it's hard to find people, it's hard to stay motivated as a musician. And
Totally.
like, when we go down to like areas like Tennessee and we see all these cats down there who've got total different styles than us because they're not coming from, like rock backgrounds, they're playing jazz and shit down there.
Yeah.
And ripping past us. It's
Jacob Marcus.
It's so important to try and make it to these bigger cities where these actual scenes are going, like Austin and, Nashville, and
You go
really
to Tennessee, you're gonna get lost in the mix.
Yeah.
right. But see the competition that's out there because it was a changing experience for me.
Yeah.
I know, like, because Indiana, it can be depressing just sitting here in these cornfields, man. So like, actually getting out there and seeing the world is very motivating.
Well, yeah, not even the big cities. Like, I'm telling you, man, like, just the way that Appalachia, like, even red dirt, like Texas, Oklahoma.
Georgia's cool.
Yeah, down south, the way all those music scenes, the scenes that were literally built, like, where everybody grew up playing an instrument, whether you were, if you didn't play an instrument, you were just not, you just didn't have it, at all.
Yeah.
There was
Those places are around for sure.
yeah, those places are awesome to go to because you just find that's I go to Mama Billy hasn't had a festival in a couple of years. I'm hoping she has one this year, but where a bunch of like some of the best dudes in general and the best musicians come to her house and jam for 3
met
days
her,
straight.
right?
Yeah, you met Mama Billy.
Yeah.
And I mean, just you go to things like that and you just meet all these guys that are just you might meet somebody that does something you've never seen before, and you get to sit down with them after their set and like, dude, how did you do that? And they'll talk to you and they'll look at you and they'll take notes from you and ask you how you did something, and you guys that's like the thing that I'm really happy to see that Indiana's really starting to do now is we're trying to like, hey, let's like collaborate here and let's work together and let's like build something here, like
Yeah.
I
might
kind of like to think we're going to help contribute to that a little bit with
For
this.
sure.
Well, that's
Yeah,
the
dude.
goal. I might not make it famous, but I could make you famous. We could help each. I don't know.
Come down to rainwater.
I mean, you have to define what your idea of a successful musician life is, and if you're not trying to get a Lambo in the next 13 months or whatever, then you're going to be okay,
Right.
man. It's very achievable, and you can easily visualize these goals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, dude.
totally.
It's very achievable, but yeah, that's Kris made it really pretty good about being a musician in Indiana. Sometimes it can be depressing looking at all the. I remember, man, I was out in L.A. for a week. We stayed with Jake uncle. We'd mentioned him earlier. We stayed with his uncle, which Jake is a
Jake Boger.
Jake, yeah, no, Jake Marcus, but
No, Jake Boger, right? His
no,
uncle?
no.
It wasn't Jake?
No.
Which one was it?
Jake lives in in Illinois.
Oh, okay.
Mike Foy.
Mike.
He's a
okay.
rapper. Shout out to Mike Foy.
On his mom's side.
Yeah. We stayed out with him for a
Forrest
week,
Gump.
and
Sorry.
yeah, and man, just being there for a week in Hollywood and meeting all these people that like have made it. Like we met the guy that like designed the posters for like Kevin Hart's shit and all that. Like lived in
That's
Beverly.
dope as fuck.
Yeah, we went to his house for like a party in Beverly Hills, and we met this dude that produced like a lot of the songs on the Carter 3 and the Carter 4 by Lil
Sweet,
Wayne.
man,
and
that's
we
cool.
and we went to his apartment the next day, and we wrote a couple songs with him. And
That's
we
crazy.
were there for a week, and we met these people, and it was just it's crazy to be in an environment like that because you meet all these people that are
Yeah.
you know, and it was crazy how open these people were to create. And that's when I realized that I was approaching everything wrong. Was like, these people made it because they collabed with everybody. Because it's like, I don't know who you are, but
that's the thing.
You know,
I don't know about manifestation as like a doctrine or whatever, but there is something to the idea of believing that you already have something or visualizing something, and it does happen. Like in some facet, it does. Because it's just like when we write songs, you can hear it in your head at some point. When it's starting to click, it's like, there it is.
Yeah.
That's why it's so important to surround yourself with people who are like-minded and have the same goals. You know, whether if you're a cook, if you're a musician, if you're a fighter, if you're, you know, whatever.
And you communicate with each other, too.
Exactly.
That's key.
Yeah.
And also don't do something that I've always said, which is don't wait for somebody to hold your hand.
Yeah.
I mean,
Just
like,
fucking do
jump
it.
in, dude.
yeah, I have a rule.
Fuck something up.
I have a rule in this band and in my life. I'm not going to say something more than 3 times because I'm not going to do it. Like, it's not going to happen. Like, if you tell me you're going to do something more than 3 times, I'm not going to believe you. And if you actually do it, then it's a nice little surprise for me. Because I figure by the time third time I've said it, I need to be like, well, maybe I should do it. Great example. I've probably said about 6 or 7 times that I'm finally going to start jujitsu, and I still haven't done it. So, you know, we'll get to that bridge when I finally get to it. But, you know, don't wait for somebody to hold your hand. Just do it. If you have an idea, just execute it. And if you don't have time, find time. You know, plan it out. Figure out what day would be a good day for you to do it.
Yeah.
And
you make time for what you care about.
It drives me nuts when I'm sitting there and I'm just thinking, like, I'm doing nothing, and I'm like, man, I could really be doing something right now. Like the other day, I was working on the sound system, and then I was getting kind of burnt out on that. I was getting, like, my brain was getting all scrambled. I was like, I need to find something to do, and so I made those drumstick keychains that Kris had the idea for about cutting our broken drumsticks apart. And
great idea.
Yeah, well, that was his idea. Yeah,
great idea, man.
Yeah, Chris's idea, and I sat down and I made them.
I can print on those, by the way, just saying.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Squeegee pie merch.
That's the first drummer idea.
Squeegee pie merch.
That's the first drummer idea we haven't hung on the fridge.
Right? Yeah. Yeah, and it was, I made, it took me about an hour to make, I don't know, probably 20, 25 of them.
$60 a piece, guys.
Yeah, $60 a piece. No, and after I got done, I went back and worked on my sound system, and I had a clear mind because I wasn't focused on it, and I fixed a lot of issues and all that. So it's like, you know, if you have this idea, bring it to life. Don't wait, because a lot of these, it drives a lot of the guys in my band crazy because I don't like to wait. I want to do things now because that's how I got to where I'm at in the first place, because 10 years ago, I was begging people to, like, hey, here's a set list. Let's be a band. Let's go out and play. And nobody wanted to do it. So I was like, well, fuck you guys. I'm gonna go find some people that did it. And I found a thrash metal band that wanted to go out and play gigs. So I formed with them, and we cut our teeth together playing live for the first time and all that. And I was in a alternative rock band with my buddy Joseph Heiss, and we later went off and did this jazz trio. But anyway, I didn't want to just talk about doing it. I wanted to go do it, and I looked for any avenue I could find to go do it, whether I wanted to play that music or not. I'm not a thrash metal drummer, and I like to think I did the part, but I don't know. But
you did something right. You ended up on
So all in
Co's
all,
team and everything.
All in all, we just do we have the Shia LaBeouf button?
just do it.
Yeah, there we go.
I played for.
He says, I don't give a fuck what you think about me.
The best example I've always had is I played for David Allan Coe. Think of that what you will, but the reason why I got that gig is because I drove to Cincinnati every other weekend to play drums for $100, like $100 a gig. So I was making like $200 playing in this really, really tiny bar called God, I can't even remember. What was it? Paul's Tavern or whatever? Phil's, yeah, Phil's. Yeah, I was playing at Phil's Tavern, this small little, like, I swear.
How is Phil?
I don't know how Phil is. I haven't seen him in a couple of years, but no, it was like literally the size of this area right here. It was a small little shed that we were playing in.
His last name was McCracken.
I wondered that.
Phil McCracken.
Bloody cunts!
I love you, Phil. But no, anyway, so we're, I played, for $100. Like, I drove to Cincinnati. I drove 2.5 hours to go make $100. It wasn't smart, but the guitar player that I was jamming with, Mr. Nick Giese, he ended up getting the job to play for Coe, and he was like, "You want to come with us?" And I was
yeah.
Well, fucking yeah, I want to come with you.
dude.
And I got the
time and
gig.
place.
So it goes back to, if you really want to do the damn thing and you don't have anything holding you back, go freaking do it.
Just do
Yeah,
it.
just do it. Like, what are you waiting on? You can't wait for somebody to do it for you because nobody's going to do it for you.
Something that's helped me is I've always tried to be prepared to answer whatever question that anyone might have about whatever it is that I'm like trying to achieve. Like when I was in recovery, like in early active recovery, you know what I mean? When I was doing the meetings and everything earlier on, it's like you could ask me exactly what I would do if this, that, or the other, and I've already thought about that. I've already kind of premeditated what I would do if I could. Same thing applies to any goal that you want to achieve. Like the more detail you can add to that, you know, verbalize that, then the more real it is. I mean, it's literally like that.
Manifest.
Your first go around is not going to be perfect. Like,
but if you can see it, then it's a thing.
Exactly. Like when you're writing, you know, you start out with that rough draft. Like as a band, you're gonna have that rough draft. Me and Brandon were in a metal band for a second that kind of that wanted to overanalyze stuff and they wanted it to be too perfect before we even started our first show. And it's like, no, your first shows are, they're gonna have some shit moments in them. They're gonna have really good moments too. Like it's gonna be memorable.
The Red Hot Chili Peppers got booed off stage their first show. You know, it's
dude.
Oh yeah,
get out there and do it. Get real results from real people. You know.
What did Dave Grohl say about American Idol? Where he was like, don't go to American Idol. Go form a band in your buddy's garage and go suck.
Piss your neighbors off.
Yeah, just suck ass for a while and then get good. You know.
Yeah.
I believe what you fellas are discussing is vision as it relates to success.
Sure.
Yeah.
And you have
or failure.
Life is just a series of vision statements followed by mission statements and then executables. And if you follow through with the vision and the mission and the executables, then you're a successful person.
Well, there's a little bit of luck and time and place in there, but
and credit card.
And I don't know about you guys, but like a lot of the stuff that I wanted to happen when I was a kid, that was like 10 plus years ago, naturally manifested itself as if like I kind of knew there was a natural direction to stick to, and if I stuck to it and had faith in something,
sense.
It was going to happen. Like, and it's been that way with vehicles, with relationships, with musical instruments, like
vehicles.
Tightest triplets in the land.
Are you driving a Ferrari?
No, but I'm not talking about
tightest pyramidal I've ever seen.
As a kid, I was like, I'm going to have a green Jeep someday, and 10 years later, like, a green Jeep came into my life. So I really do believe in some form of manifestation on very deep.
You got to manifest.
Sure.
Believing in yourself and having confidence. Because if you can't, a big part of being a professional, which not saying that we are, but
yeah, we are.
If
you're allowed to say that.
Clearly, if you're lacking confidence, it's because you lack the skills to do something. And if you had those skills, you'd have the confidence to show that you have those skills. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So
now you're talking about preparedness.
Yeah.
Being prepared for the opportunities that present themselves.
Preparedness and...
Dude, your drumming is tight butthole, bro.
And also, getting prepared but not overanalyzing stuff. You know what I'm saying? Having big goals but acting on them. Don't hold back. You know
Taking
what I'm
nibbles. Got to take nibbles.
I'm going to reel it way back, and you were talking about collaborations.
Really bad.
I still, to this day, want to see you and Dakota Curtis write something.
Dude, but yeah.
I'm sure it'll happen one day.
I've been trying to do that with that guy too, man.
Me and him act like we're best friends every time we hang out. I don't know why we don't hang out more, but
I think you guys would be two peas in a pod.
Dude, he's like a spiritual animal to me. Like he's like this evasive like spirit animal.
He's the fox in my dreams that pops up every now and then. It's okay, buddy.
Like you'll
be all right.
Yeah, exactly. Super laid back. Yeah.
Oh man, there was one of my favorite Dakota stories. Dakota wasn't even there, but I think I've told him this story. But I had to drive from Oklahoma to Lexington, Kentucky. I played in Oklahoma Monday night, and I had to play in Lexington Tuesday night. And I decided I was going to drive all the way to Lexington, and I was going to sleep for like 4 hours in the parking lot. I would rather get there and sleep. That way I could just wake up and push myself into the bar. And I drove for 12 hours straight after playing a 3-hour show.
How many hours did you drive gay?
About 4.
Yeah, less than a handful.
4. Yeah, 4 about.
Yeah, less than a handful.
3.5. But no, I was so once I got to Kentucky, I was so
had to do the exact math.
I was so tired and so delusional that the sky was so weird because the sun was kind of coming up, but it was like half the sky was black and then half the sky was like grayish white, and then but the black side of the sky that looked like was the one that the road was going into. So on God, it looked like I was driving like this, like straight into hell. It was the trippiest thing ever, and I was so sleep deprived, and so it looked like I was literally driving down, like I got butterflies and everything. and I was listening to one of the Rainwater CDs with had all the compilation of musicians, and Dakota's song came on, Boulevard's on Fire.
Yeah, I love that song.
And I listened to that song, and that's one of my favorite memories ever, is listening to that whole song while driving what I thought was like into hell.
Yeah.
And then I'll be damned if that song didn't because I was like on the verge of like falling asleep behind the wheel. I probably did a couple times.
It's actually how we got this podcast. Was he drove into hell and made the deal with the devil?
Yeah, we're gonna be famous someday,
God.
folks. Hang on, no, but
My family's disowning me as they watch this.
no, but just listening to that song and like, it helped push me through for a couple more hours to get to where I needed to be, because that's all I needed was 2 more hours, and then I got to my rest stop and I slept. That was the best 4 hours I've ever slept.
He's got like a sultry, it's like an Eddie Vedder sort of sound going on.
Yeah.
I like him.
But yeah, I credit to Dakota for a night that I almost died. He saved my life.
Yeah, man. Let's get together, yo. All of us.
There's a
Mr.
lot of
Curtis.
musicians that I've kind of wanted to work with. When you and Steve Hickman wrote that song.
Hickman's
Waiting on
cool.
you, yeah.
Yeah,
Hickman's a
I
badass.
just
Keenan Rainwater, he's good, man. I like a lot of Keenan's.
Real quick,
He's all right.
if
Does
we
some
were going to
things.
be talking to like some younger kids or something, like, teenagers or maybe like older, younger 20s or whatever, if you're kind of stuck there with your cell phone and you haven't really been out on the scene yet, or whatever, but you've got your instrument, you've got gear, whatever, and you've never played shows, like what would you guys say the next step is in terms of getting out there? And
If you've never played a show?
you never booked a show, maybe you've never played a show, maybe you have, but you're not sure on what to like you post content sometimes, you're not getting views.
Right, I got you.
Like, what's your step into getting out into the real world and kind of being comfortable with it, other than
Taylor
just
already
trying
said
to do
it.
it?
Just fucking do it.
Yeah.
That's it. Quit thinking about it. Quit thinking about how to approach it. Get yourself some half decent gear that's not going to fail on you on stage.
Yeah.
Make sure you don't sound like ass. Figure out some tones, and then go out there and just do it.
Yeah. You get what
It doesn't
you put
have
inside
to
it.
be the kind of music that you've always wanted to play. It doesn't have to be anything like that. Just your first opportunity to get out there and just do it. Fucking do it.
So there's nice little baby steps to start to help to just do it, because obviously, like, starting out, because I was booking shows at 18 years old. I was
Yeah.
booking shows and playing them, and and when I was in that metal band, by the time I was 20, we were playing twice a month, and in a metal band, that's really hard to do.
Yeah.
But we were playing about
Yeah, it
twice
is.
a month, and how I did it was I obviously this was like 2016. I
Did you
want to
guys
say
have swoopy hair?
No, we weren't that cool.
Okay.
But I did. But
That was a thing.
I was also half naked wearing like a BDSM mask too. So that
Sweet.
was it was a weird
It was
time.
like BDSM Plague Doctor.
yeah.
Okay.
I still have that mask. I'm gonna wear it someday.
Yeah,
but,
you do shit like that, man. I never could pull that off.
but no, the best good way to start is you could send emails. I don't know if emails really work anymore. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But you can also message the venues.
EPK?
You're not. Yeah, if you don't have 3 hours worth, if you have 3 hours worth of material, there's a lot of bars that'll take you. Just put together a decent EPK.
Yep.
And if you don't know what an EPK is an electronic press kit. It consists of photos, a bio about yourself. The most important thing is music and video. They want to know what you sound like without. They just want to know what you sound like.
This is important ass information, by the way, so write it down if you are serious.
Yeah. So you want photos, videos, brief description of yourself. If you don't have 3 hours worth of material, but you want to take your original material and you want to find people in the scene to help cultivate you and whatever, and find people to connect with. Go to open mics and find like some popular open mics in your area. I know Indianapolis, we have the Square Cat vinyl.
Yep. Cosmic.
Cosmic. It's been a minute since I've been out and done the open mic stuff, because after a while you don't want to do it anymore because you don't want to play for free.
Yeah.
What you're talking about here is networking. That's the overarching theme. Play with as many people as you can, meet as many people as you can.
Make mistakes on stage.
And
Make
go
mistakes.
to people's shows.
And that
Be
sounds
respectful, be courteous, but make mistakes.
This sounds like great information for bands, but if you're an artist who, rather whatever type of instrument you play,
I mean, Taylor
what
went out
did you
there
guys?
solo.
What did you
That's for
guys?
everybody.
I'm talking about solo.
Yeah, that's straight
That's
up
what I did
solo.
as a solo act.
Well, to be more specific, what would you guys do? Say if you're not in a band and you're having a hard time finding members, how would you go about
Facebook's not
restarting and finding people to connect with? and play with.
Exactly what
Pretty
I said.
much
Go out
exactly
to
what
open
Taylor
mics.
said.
Go out to open mics and open jams and networking with
Go out and
musicians.
meet people that are out
say,
there.
You know,
doing it.
so say for
I got a question.
67, for example, doesn't, you know, they probably want a full band versus somebody
No,
just a
not an
solo
open mic.
act.
Not an open mic.
Okay.
So
Open mic, they want solo acts.
So yeah, start with the opportunities that you can get.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know,
Like Square Cat Vinyl.
you're gonna go
they-
play for free.
That's a good
Like
way.
Square Cat Vinyl, they have 25 slots, and you go up there and you with an acoustic guitar or a piano or whatever you're doing, and you're sitting up there and you're playing one song.
I need to do that.
And open jams are great for any musician, especially sidemen that don't play guitar and sing, that can't hold their own at a bar and they need to find a band to join. Because open jams, you can get up like a blues jam, you can get up and play drums, and you can find like a bass player or a drummer or a guitar player or a singer that's looking to start a band.
Totally.
So open jams and open mics are great for musicians that are trying to find bands or trying to find band members. And the
Genres.
thing about guys that sing and play, it's going to take forever to find the perfect lineup. It's really rare that people find like the perfect lineup right off starting.
Most people are douchebags.
So yeah, I would straight up. What the best advice I've always been told is you go out there and you just play by yourself for as long as you know. You go out there and you make your name and you don't wait for people. And then the band will slowly come along. People will start to see you. They'll start to see you play, and they'll like, hey, I want to, if you ever need a drummer, if you ever need a bass player, if you ever need a guitar player, get a hold of me.
How do you guys think that? Because that sounds like an easier job for like a guitarist. You know what I
Right.
mean, or someone who can, play a form of a melody under their singing or something. So maybe if you're like a drummer who's trapped out in a small town
Actually-
and can't do like a solo show, do you guys think
Go
they
to
should
those
play guitar?
jams.
Do you think
If
No,
you,
they-
Go to those jams.
if
they
you got
go
a
to those
drum,
fine,
jams.
just go to shows and try to talk to people?
if you have a drum kit in one of those areas, you're winning. You're one of the only people that does. Probably.
I've played at a lot of open jams, like out in HD Beans in Cincinnati. Like
Yep.
we'd have like 4 or 5 drummers in that building, and they'd go down and play.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
drummers
Yeah.
are the hardest ones to
And
find.
it's not
man.
about knowing like every song you're playing. You just get with people and you try to play what they're doing.
Yep.
And a lot of times you'll be like, well, do you guys know this song? All right, let's play this song real quick. But it's a jam, and it's usually with a lot of musicians you don't know.
So don't get, if you are the only dude in your area, especially drummers, don't get, worried
You know who
about
you
it.
are.
Try and get sharp at your shit so that, when you are about, networking, someone's going to be like, oh, wow, I've discovered a fucking rare gem,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. At first, don't be afraid to give it away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You're going to play a lot for free. You're going to prove your worth, and then opportunities are going to present themselves. But if nobody knows how valuable you are because you were afraid to invest your time and your effort for nothing,
Right.
Yeah.
right? Like,
There's a lot
Playing for
about this
free.
industry that's like not
Trenches.
music.
Yeah,
It's-
you go through the bullshit. It takes a while to make a lot of money or good money doing this.
A lot of it's not about music.
Yeah, it's you got to go out and network. But for a young musician, the best way for any of them is, obviously you want to put your stuff online. You want to like publish stories or like your abilities so people know what you're like. Because a lot of times you can find a band to be in just by saying that. There's a lot of musician groups on Facebook. But going to open jams, going to other people's shows, that's a great way to network, especially if you're already a solo act or you're already in a group or whatever. You go to local shows and you like talk to people because you want to be friends with it. I've always said I would much rather go spend my money going to local shows because those guys see me there and they're like, wow, that's really cool. I want to go to his show because he supported mine. Because I don't like spending money. I like seeing big name acts and stuff because you get to take a lot of notes and figure out how the pros do it. But I've always been like, why would I spend all this money on seeing this guy that doesn't give a shit about me when I would rather go see 15 acts that do give a shit, that really care about.
that's another great adage. There's a saying that the route to success is helping as many people as you can.
Yeah.
You know, be useful. Look out for the other people around you, and then
You
it
can't
comes
just be
around.
can't just be shoplifting your whole way through. Like you got to
No,
be
you
giving
gotta
it away
put
too.
into it.
Yeah.
That's a big part of faith is if you're suffering, it's probably because you're not helping other
Yeah.
people and seeing the energy that, they exchange with you for
Yeah.
that,
What you give gives back to
And
you.
that's not just musically, like
for sure.
help just if you're sitting there doing nothing, go help somebody do something and
Well, listen,
you're
I
not going to
think
be
At the
thinking
end of
about
the day,
you're not going to be thinking about yourself.
You gotta fucking get out and just do it like we said before. Yeah. Just go do it. Have fun with it. You're gonna fuck up. That's all it is. If there's any advice we could leave you with at the end of
Swing.
this podcast, that would be it.
swing.
Yeah, just do it. Because you know why? It's so easy, baby. It's so easy. We'll see you next time, guys. Oh,
Thank you much.
oh, my mama was a campster.
You should have gone like straight Men in Black, like Will Smith Men in Black rap.
Ooh,
You know what I'm
Well
saying?
done, fellas.
Wild Wild West.
that was it.